proposed agreement, and on page 131, and it says, item 12.2, if any lands that are not owned by any party are determined to be necessary for the project, the township will make the best efforts to acquire the lands in a timely manner. I guess my question is the cost of acquiring the land included in the 51 million, or is it over and above the 51 million?
If I may, I believe that there is an amount in the budget of $5 million for acquisition of land. Am I correct in that?
There is property allocation within the $51 million.
And I think the question is that enough?
Okay.
And I'm not sure, was it 5 million, Mr. Bachman, or was it $1 million? I think it was $1 million.
Your Worship, there's an amount specified under contingency, and we're hesitant to discuss numbers because it may affect pricing.
Okay, but going back to the question that I asked earlier about the cost overruns, if the purchase price of the land is higher than has been budgeted for, would that be one of the qualifying overruns that the township would be responsible for picking up?
And clearly within the program budget. So when I mentioned before how this works is that the project goes out for procurement. You get your bids back from the design build contractor, and then you know what your construction price is. You have your budget for project management, you have a contingency budget, you have your budget for property, and at that time that whole budget comes back to the partners, and we say yes, and we allocate the funding towards it based on the proportions that each of us are funding towards that project. Then the project budget is set. So within that, we've captured the property required to the best of our ability, and there is some contingency for managing unforeseen circumstances. So at that time, the risk for budget is low.
So, but if the land does cost more, will the township have to pick that up? Or
if it's within the contingency in the budget, it's covered in that. If it goes beyond that, then well, in this funding agreement, and there is some provision for cost overruns between the province and the township for overruns.
The other question that I had is, one of the things that we've been told is that this particular design is needed because it improves the network, the traffic network. And so I'm just wondering, what, from the design perspective, it's taking the traffic and putting it onto 216th, which is still going to take it back to Clover. So I'm just wondering how exactly that improves the network.
And I would prefer the municipal staff to talk about the design and the local traffic impacts, because they're closer to that than myself.
If I may, to